Hello, welcome back to CinemaBurger, where I bring you movie reviews from a different perspective. Today we're here to talk about the Amazon original movie, The Tomorrow War, starring Chris Pratt, Yvonne Stratsky, J.K. Simmons, Betty Gilpin, and Sam Richardson. This movie takes place in the present time, and 30 years in the future there's a war with aliens, and we need our people from the present time to help fight it because Earth's population is reduced to bare minimum. So people get drafted to the future war, and they know when they're gonna die also because this is years in the future. So it kind of plays with time travel a little bit because they're not allowed to know how they die and things like that. But also going to the future doesn't affect the past, so maybe it creates multiple timelines or multiverse. They don't really get into that, but it's more about like saving the future and the present and all that. They talk about time travel a little bit is it's like two fixed points. They can only go to that point and to the present time. It's the same spot, just 30 years apart. So that's kind of interesting how they describe that. Because they talk about, well, why don't we go to like the beginning of the war and change things? Like, no, you can't do that. You can only go to this one spot. So that's kind of interesting. So Chris Pratt and Betty Gilpin are married, and everyone's lives change when they find out about the war, and they get sent to the future. And now the aliens themselves kind of look like they're like four-legged creatures. They have like little arms and like spikes. They shoot like things at them. The aliens themselves aren't that creative looking, but they're interesting enough. J.K. Simmons plays Chris Pratt's father. He was a Vietnam vet, and he's like kind of off the grid, and he left the family when Chris Pratt was a kid, and they resent each other. But of course, this type of the movie they're gonna fix their relationship by the end of the movie because of course. Sam Richardson plays another guy sent to the war with Chris Pratt. Now, Chris Pratt was in the military prior. I mean, his character was, so he knows about like military stuff. Because only certain people can be sent to the future because of DNA or something. I think it's also that if they're dead in the future, they can be sent there because of time paradoxes or whatever. But this movie is about 2 hours and 18 minutes long. Now that's about 40 minutes too long in my opinion. Like, it's all interesting. The first half of the movie is interesting because they kind of talk about this how this movie works, like with the time travel and stuff. But then it gets into like stereotypical plot points, like they establish one character in the beginning is good at one very specific thing, and the fate of the world is comes down to this one specific thing that this one person knows. And I don't know. I had low expectations going into this movie, but overall I thought it was like fine. The special effects looked fine. But by the end, I was a little disappointed. I mean, like I said, I had low expectations, but the writing could have been better. Now, apparently, this might be getting a sequel, but I don't see how because they save the day in the movie. I'm not going to get into details, but this is doing very well on streaming, so they might make a sequel because money. But I'd give to Tomorrow War give it a 2 out of 5 burgers. Like I said, first half is interesting, but the movie is a little long, and the second half becomes very stereotypical and falls into familiar movie tropes. So, yeah, check it out. It's free on Amazon Prime. If you got nothing else to do, check it out. I'm Scott Berger, and I'll see you next time.